Illinois Humanities is a nonprofit whose work is to strengthen the social, political, and economic fabric of Illinois through constructive conversation and community engagement. Our divisions are programs and exhibitions, education, and grant making. In our public programs, we focus on public policy, media and journalism, the economy, and art. I would say that one word that describes the organization is extraordinary.
Open.
Inclusive.
I'd have to say creative.
Curious.
We are definitely open to ideas, open to discussion, open to trying new things, and I think that's what keeps the organization fresh.
For anyone to take on this amount of work and this kind of work, and the intensity and knowledge that it takes to carry this out, it's just very brave.
I would say connector. Connector because I think that that's one of the things that we take really seriously here.
Because of the way in which we listen to communities, instead of designing programming for them, we play the role of facilitator so that they can create programs that they think are smartest and best. And I think that that's a really extraordinary thing because it's incredibly rare.
A lot of the work that I do here really is in relationship building and working with a variety of different organizations and people. So we work with anywhere from high school students to libraries to just individual groups of people down in Southern Illinois, for instance. So trying to think about how to promote discussion in a variety of different circumstances and also trying to be responsive to what those groups, people, organizations want to be talking about. So what are the issues, specifically in public policy, that are really important and how can they best address them?
The state is a vibrant landscape of cultural activity that's accessible to everyone. And so we make grants that help bolster and nurture the landscape of cultural activity across the state. And we make grants that help make programming accessible to people across the state of Illinois. But a third component is that we're always learning from the grants and the partnerships that we make.
So the Elective Studies series is an ongoing series for practicing artists to unite, inspire, nourish, and connect. So we do master classes taught by artists with unique practices for other artists, and then supper clubs, elective study supper clubs in partnership with Land and Sea Department, where we bring together a group of artists to hear from someone who has expertise in a field outside of the arts.
We're at a moment where Chicago, the state of Illinois, and much of the country is facing a real crisis in law enforcement and in our carceral system. And I think that Illinois Humanities, because of the strengths that we bring, the curiosity and the commitment to engagement that we bring, and the commitment to partnering others that we bring, is poised to really help spark a conversation that uses the arts, that uses the humanities, and that uses civic dialogue to engage a lot of people, a broad array of people, but particularly the people most impacted by the criminal justice system.
Illinois Humanities is a longtime partner of Free Right Arts and Literacy. This new initiative, Envisioning Justice, is a culmination of those many years of partnerships that really capitalizes on the moment where this conversation is very relevant, the conversation about decreasing populations of detention centers and jails, about looking at the context of mass incarceration and the systems that feed into it.
The idea that within justice, and especially if we bring it to one of the kind of terms that are central to how we work, restorative justice, right? The idea that you can return goodness to a social interaction in which somebody may have committed a harm and somebody may be harmed, and create equity for all involved in that. That to me is at least one of the guiding principles behind the work and behind the partnership.
The ideal impact of Envisioning Justice on Chicago would be allowing for a structure that is created by the community to be for the community, and that's what they're left with. We need to bring them materials to build some type of infrastructure for them to continue to replicate jobs for youth, to continue to talk about the arts and the humanities, bringing in intersectional conversations. We need to have everybody at the table, and Envisioning Justice does that.
The detention center is a place that shouldn't have to exist. We should not be incarcerating children in order to help them. There should be places and hubs, just like our Envisioning Justice hubs around the city, that create spaces that are safe, that are supportive, that have a set of amazing opportunities to create joy, so that young people can address some of the critical needs that they face day to day.
When we hear words like mass incarceration or criminal justice system, or we even begin to talk about the police, those are some topics that have visceral responses. And so while those are, I guess, appropriate responses, I think that what's more important is that we understand some of the factors that are influencing that. And then we're able to not just know about it, but then we're able to take action. And so I'm hopeful that after we educate the community and we give them a voice, that we're then able to move into some action steps to actually make some changes.
If you're considering a gift, make it. Come join the story, be part of the story.
The gift you would give is closer to achieving justice than you might originally imagine.
So I think that it is an amazing place to really sow a seed. That's what I would call it. I think that it begins wonderful work that's going to have lasting impact.
There are lots of places where you could give your money, but there are few organizations that are at the nexus of so many issues in the same way that we are.
No matter where you fall on the political spectrum, we all agree that communities have to be stronger if we're going to create solutions that we all buy into and that we all support, and that without that work, we're just not going to see the kind of changes in community that we all believe is necessary.
It goes to good use. Don't just consider, do it.